Y'all know how much I love sharing my family recipes, and this one's a real keeper. It's my Meemaw's famous country cornbread, the kind that'll make you want to slap your mama. But in a good way, of course. Meemaw always said, a meal ain't a meal without a good hunk of cornbread, and honey, she weren't lying. This cornbread is moist, crumbly, and full of that southern charm we all crave. Now Meemaw was a character, bless her heart. She used to say this cornbread was so good, it could make a preacher cuss. I wouldn't go that far, but it's definitely got a way of making folks do a little happy dance. So grab your aprons, y'all, and let's get cooking. First things first, we gotta round up our ingredients. Don't you worry, none of this fancy pants stuff here. We're talking good old-fashioned southern staples. 1 cup cornmeal. This here's the star of the show. Make sure it's the good kind, none of that sugar-added nonsense. We're looking for pure, unadulterated corn flavor. 1 cup all-purpose flour. Now, some folks might call this cheating, but Meemaw always said a little bit of flour helps keep things light and fluffy. We don't want no brick-like cornbread, do we? 1/2 cup sugar, just a touch of sweetness to balance out the savoriness. But don't go overboard. We ain't making cake here. 1 teaspoon baking powder. This is our secret weapon for getting that perfect crumb. It'll make the cornbread rise up nice and tall. 1/2 teaspoon salt. A pinch of salt brings out all the flavors and keeps things from tasting bland. 1 cup buttermilk. Now this is where the magic happens. Buttermilk adds a tangy goodness that you just can't replicate. If you're fresh out of buttermilk, don't you fret. Just add a tablespoon of lemon juice to a cup of regular milk and let it sit for a few minutes. 1 egg. We want our cornbread rich and binding, and an egg does just the trick. 1/4 cup melted butter. You can't have southern cooking without butter, honey. It adds flavor and moisture that'll make your mouth water. Now that we got all our ingredients lined up, let's get down to business. 1. Preheat the oven. Crank that oven up to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to bake this cornbread to golden perfection. 2. Grease the skillet. Meemaw always used a well-seasoned cast iron skillet, said it gave the cornbread a better flavor. But if you don't have one, a regular 9-inch baking pan will do just fine. Just make sure you grease it up good with butter or shortening. 3. Mix the dry ingredients. In a large bowl, whisk together the cornmeal, flour, sugar, baking powder, and salt. Make sure there ain't no lumps. We want everything nice and evenly distributed. 4. Mix the wet ingredients. In a separate bowl, whisk together the buttermilk, egg, and melted butter. Don't overmix it, just a few good stirs will do. 5. Combine wet and dry. Now slowly pour the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients, whisking gently until everything's just combined. Don't go crazy with the whisking, or you'll end up with tough cornbread. 6. Pour and bake. Pour the batter into your greased skillet or baking pan and pop it in the preheated oven. Bake for about 20 to 25 minutes or until the top is golden brown and a toothpick inserted into the center comes out clean. Hot out of the oven. Serving suggestions. Once your cornbread is done, take it out of the oven and let it cool in the skillet for a few minutes. This'll give it a chance to firm up a bit before you cut into it. Now, you can eat this cornbread plain and it'll still be delicious. But if you want to take it up a notch, here are a few ideas. Slather it with butter. Honey, there ain't nothing better than a warm slice of cornbread with a big old pat of melty butter on top. It's a classic for a reason. Drizzle it with honey. If you're feeling fancy, drizzle some honey over your cornbread for a touch of sweetness. Crumble it into your chili. This is Meemaw's favorite way to eat cornbread. Just crumble it up into your bowl of chili for a hearty and satisfying meal. Meemaw's wisdom. A final word. Now y'all go on and try making this cornbread for yourselves. It's so easy, even a city slicker could do it. And trust me, once you get a taste of this southern goodness, you'll be hooked. Remember, the most important ingredient in any recipe is love. So put on your apron, channel your inner Meemaw, and get cooking. Happy eating, y'all!